Welcome back to the Deep Dive. Today we're tackling a really specific moment in a school's life, kind of growing pain. We're talking about that point where spreadsheets, the tool that got you started, suddenly become the thing holding you back.
It's a classic story. Spreadsheets are familiar, they're flexible, but that's the trap. They create this slow creep problem that catches so many administrators off guard.
A slow creep problem. I like that. So it's not one big failure, it's 1,000 tiny frustrations.
Exactly. It happens when the complexity of your school starts to outpace the volume. You're spending more time fixing data than actually, running the school.
So let's get specific. What does outgrowing spreadsheets actually look like on a Tuesday morning for an administrator?
Well, the most obvious sign is chaos with your files. You have multiple versions of the same attendance sheet, for example.
And nobody knows which one is the right one.
Nobody. And then there's the duplication. Student info gets copied from an admission sheet to a grades sheet to a billing sheet.
Oh, that sounds like a recipe for disaster.
It is, because a tiny typo made during admissions can compound and show up months later on a tuition invoice. And you usually find out because an upset parent is on the phone.
And what about security? I mean, with a spreadsheet, can you really control who sees what?
That's the other big one. You can't. There's no way to give a teacher access to just their gradebook without also potentially exposing sensitive billing information. It's a huge compliance risk.
Right, so you can't just tell people to be more careful. It's a system problem.
You can't out-train a structural problem. You need to move from manual effort and just hoping for the best to a predictable structure.
So let's talk about that structure. What's the alternative? This is where a specialized tool like DreamClass comes in.
Exactly. We're talking about moving to a single source of truth for the entire school.
Okay, so what does that actually save an administrator in practical terms? How does that give them their time back?
The change is immediate. You stop cross-referencing and start, executing. Manual data entry plummets, and so do the human errors.
And you get rid of that version control nightmare.
Completely. And you replace it with role-based access. So teachers see what they need to see, parents see what they need to see, and that's it. It's cleaner and more professional for everyone.
So if an administrator listening to this is nodding along, what are the non-negotiable features they should be looking for?
Number one has to be centralized student profiles. You need one record, one screen that has everything. Admissions, grades, attendance, billing history, all of it.
So you can answer any question in seconds.
Right. And number two, that academic management, the attendance, the grading, it has to be integrated directly with enrollment and even the financials.
Okay, so no more separate systems for money and academics.
It has to be seamless. For private schools especially, you need tuition, invoicing, and payment tracking all tied to that same central student record. We call it school student fees. It just removes all the friction.
And I imagine a parent portal is a big part of that.
It's crucial. It brings parents into that same organized world. They feel more connected and informed.
Now, the idea of moving all that data can feel a bit overwhelming. How do schools make that transition without, creating a new kind of chaos?
You do it in stages. You don't try to boil the ocean. Start with your most critical data, which is almost always the main student records.
So clean up that one spreadsheet first.
Clean it up, remove the duplicates, and then import that logical group. Students first. Then maybe staff, then your classes.
And I'd guess you should probably test it with a small batch first.
Absolutely. Migrate a handful of records, check them against the old spreadsheet, and make sure everything looks right. It builds confidence in the new system.
So if you boil it down to one key takeaway for an administrator who's feeling that spreadsheet pain right now, what would it be?
I'd say it's about reclaiming your time and your sanity. A specialized system gives you structure and peace of mind. Spreadsheets just demand your constant error-prone effort every single day.
And here's something to think about. When you're scaling, it's not just the volume of students that breaks your old system. It's the complexity. It's the connections between the data points.
That's a powerful thought.
So ask yourself, what connections are multiplying right now? Between a student's grade, their employment status, their attendance record. That's where you need to build a better structure.
A great question for any school leader to ponder.
Thank you for tuning in to The Deep Dive. We'll catch you next time.